Alrighty, folks. Hello and welcome, everyone. I hope everybody is doing great. I hope that you are all kind of coming in from an excellent weekend. For those of you who are in different time zones, as I am in a northern California area this morning, I hope that you folks in the future are also having a wonderful day. For me, it is Monday morning. I'm excited to get my week started. And I'm also excited to dive into some Patreon themed projects. So if you folks would like to join in with me, please head over to adobe.com/express or express.adobe.com because we're going to dive in and check out Express and see all of the awesome things that we can make in here. I see familiar faces in the chat. Richard, it's good to see you. Sean, Edel, official. I'm sorry if I butchered that name, but welcome in. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for popping in. But I'm going to bring you folks over to the page here, just in case there's any of you folks in the chat who've maybe never used Express before. You can kind of dive in here with me and do a little bit of exploring. So over here, ooh, one second. It looks like I've got a different page showing up. One moment, folks. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, we are going to go ahead and work just like this. I just moved everything over to my other monitor. Apologies for that. So if you folks head over to adobe.com/express, you get a little bit of a rundown on what Adobe Express is, all of the wonderful things that you can do within Express. So definitely head over there if you'd like to do some exploring and check out all of that good stuff. And then you can head over, if you do not click this Start for Free button here, you can head over here to express.adobe.com. And here on this front page, you can jump through and explore tons and tons of different templates and things. You can explore projects. Maybe you have created projects before. You can dive into old projects. You can go into brands, view your libraries, and all of these awesome, wonderful things. What we're going to do today is we're going to create some graphics that you folks could use if you are using Patreon already, or you'd like to maybe get into using Patreon to kind of advertise to your community, to social media, the things that you offer on your Patreon, the different tier rewards that you may have to offer, and that sort of thing. So I'm actually going to dive into Facebook posts. Now I'm using Facebook posts. If you would like to follow along with me, you may use any template that you wish. You can start from scratch. You can do whatever you like, but I'm going to scroll through here because I have seen a template that I do like. I'm going to select this Arbor Day painting workshop template, and we're going to dive in here and take a look. So I'm just going to hit start from. Going to go ahead and create from this template. And then it just opens it up here for me, and I can, I'm just zooming in and out with my Control plus and minus keys here, and as you can see, I can click through and I can edit anything that is here within this scene. Now this is a pretty cool template. It's got a nice place for text. It's got a good area where I can add an image of any of my content or the products that I offer on Patreon. I'm going to create this for a Patreon that offers custom illustrations, perhaps visual storytelling and the like. So it's going to be an illustration over here on this side. But I'm going to go through and show you how we can replace all of these things, make this template our own. And then I'm going to go through how we can kind of spice up some of the text and also group some of these shapes together and create kind of a more lively design with these blob shapes here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and remove, I'm just clicking these text areas and hitting delete. I'm just going to remove some of this text because I don't need all of this text. I'm going to select our image in the back here, and I'm going to hit replace. And up here in our photos, I'm just going to search illustration. Boom. And we're going to search through here for some illustrations. Now, there's a lot of stuff that you can choose for this particular design, seeing as we've kind of chosen a template that allows us to peek through a little window of sorts. I do want kind of a widescreen illustration, and as I've looked through here before, I did really like this one here, which I will choose, but feel free to choose whichever you like. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this in here, and I really liked this image because it's a wider image so that I can kind of position it however I want. If I want to show all the way to the edge here, I can. If I want to bump its center, I can. And if I want to bring it over to the side, which is what I am actually going to choose to do, I can as well. And I like this because we're going to be working with these big blobs on the left and right here, and this has kind of this nice sun shape, this nice like central subject shape here, which I think can work really well for our design. And it also has some really nice popping colors, which we will kind of incorporate into the rest of our piece. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to go ahead and leave it. I might reorient it as we start to mess with our blobs here. But for now, I think that's good. Now, in this template, if you folks have decided to use the same template as me, you'll have these blobs on the left and right, and they're actually separate shapes that are grouped together. As you can see, there's these giant blob shapes that are just kind of positioned in a way that allows you to kind of build your own little sidebar here where text can go. And I like them pretty well, but I do want to reorient them in a way that fits what I want to put here. So this is a little more practice, I suppose, on taking these templates and really creating your own structure with them, really kind of giving it your own vibe. So I've just rotated, and as you can see, when I select a shape, I get this little rotate handle here, as well as a movement handle. And I've just rotated it to the side, and what I'd like to do is bring this up, and I'm kind of trying to make this shape follow the curve of this shape here. And I'm going to place it into my scene in a way that I think really works. I'll select this one here and kind of bring that down and over. And just give myself a little more room for the kind of design that we're going to be making. And what I'm going for here is I would like to, and as you can see, I've kind of re-clicked this, by the way, and this is a tip for those of you who are working with a template. Maybe you have not explored grouping elements a lot, and so if you use a template, you might go to snag something and move it around and realize that you're moving much more than you originally intended. That is because it's in a group, and if I click out and then tap onto it, it'll select the entire group, but I can still move around individual assets and shapes and things if I like, as long as I just click it, make sure I'm clicking it individually. I can switch between everything within that group still. So if you move it, and you move too much, double check to make sure that you're selecting that specific asset and not the entire group. What I'm going to do here, though, with the entire group selected, is I'm just going to make this all just a tiny bit smaller and bring this over like so. But what I'm attempting to do here is just to use the template to create something that I feel fits the exact sort of text that I'm going to go for here. And I need a little more space for my title, which is why I've kind of brought this tail off the top, because I'm going to put my title up there, and then I'm going to put a nice little list of all of the things I offer for my Patreon tier. I am going to duplicate some of these shapes, so I'm just going to select this shape here. I'm going to go ahead and press duplicate over here on the right hand side, and I will reorient that. And if I wanted to, I could, instead of duplicating two, I could just rotate this and place it here so that it covers both of these corners the way I want, and I only have to use one extra shape. And then I do like this blob over here, but what I'd really like to do is bring some more in. I want to make this look like paint rather than blobs. And to do that, what I think I'm going to do is add some more blobs in and kind of have them scattered along my canvas here. Before that, however, I am going to peek in and check out the chat real quick just to make sure, those of you who are joining me in the live chats, make sure you don't have any questions for me, and if you do, I can answer them. So let me take a peek over here. Let's see. And to do that, Arbor Day template and peers. Yes, indeed, Sean. Let me see. Make sure nobody is asking any questions. I see some Star Wars jokes in the chat. Always appreciate those. Yes, for any of you who are looking to use Adobe Express, I see some folks asking what Express is. Head over to, and I have this up, you can head over to adobe.com/express to check out Adobe Express, and you can get all of the information that you need there. But I think that's good. I don't think I've missed any questions. Let me just double check. One more. Okay, I think we are good. Is it possible to learn this power? Yes, indeed, it is possible to learn this power. You can follow along with me and all of the other wonderful instructors here on the Express channel. And you can also head over to this link, which we will post in the chat for you if you'd like to learn a little bit more. And you can get all of the Adobe Express power at your fingertips for sure. All right, let's dive in back to our project, shall we? Let's do it. Okay, so I am going to add some more blobs. Now, I'm gonna kind of check in here and look at what we've got in our layers here. So down here, you can see that I have my group here with my shapes in it. I've got another little shape right here. And what I'm gonna wanna do is add in some more blobs and then group them to this as well, so we can have some more shapes kind of climbing over in this area. So I'm going to come over to shapes, and in the search bar, I'm just going to click blob or type blob. And we get a lot of these interesting little blobs. I believe this sort of tricorn blob is what we're using for our Arbor Day side over here. And we have this nifty one right here as well. And I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop a couple of these onto my canvas. Let's go ahead and do that. And then let me see if I can scroll through here. I'm sure there's another couple of blobs. There's a lot of sets, as you can see, for those of you who maybe have not explored a lot of these shapes just yet. There's a lot of sets that you can kind of see here, where when you type in a keyword or search for something, you typically get one of something, and then you can see there's a lot of variations of that same style, as if the creator didn't just create one blob but kind of gave you a selection to choose from. And if you need to use more in your project like we're using today, it's very convenient to have multiple pieces that belong to the same set. So you're definitely set there. I'm going to go ahead and use these two, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate and arrange these in a way that I think is kind of a natural little, almost like a cobblestone path, you know, like I just kind of want to bring them around and position them in a way that I feel really kind of shows off what I'm going for here. Just like this, almost like they're little paint daubs that have been kind of scattered, like a paintbrush has maybe dripped like so. I think that's pretty cool. I'm also going to duplicate one of these. Go ahead and duplicate that. And I'm going to flip it horizontal. And I'm going to add, let's see if I can kind of bring this here. I'm going to go ahead and bring that right there, because we're going to do some color variations on these. And then I will duplicate, actually, let's duplicate this one. Let's duplicate this shape. We'll go ahead and duplicate that. And we'll bring this little guy over here, and we'll have this kind of peeking out like so. Let's go ahead and rotate it. Maybe we will actually flip this one horizontal as well, just to give it a variation, because I don't want it all to look like it has been duplicated, even though that's exactly what we're doing. I don't really want it necessarily to look like it's been duplicated. I do want there to be some sort of variation, so we'll put him right there. Cute little blob, maybe a tiny bit smaller, and we'll arrange that like so. Okay, and then we might make this one a tad smaller too, and maybe rotate that just slightly and throw that right in there. Maybe bring this guy down. And then we could duplicate this guy once more and rotate and throw him right there, just so that, you know, it just kind of travels up the side of our piece here. And then the last thing I'd like to do is a tiny bit over on this side as well. So I think what we will do is I will duplicate this, I will duplicate this oblong piece once more. I believe what I did there is I accidentally just did a Photoshop hotkey, a shortcut key for Photoshop in Express. I'm going to duplicate this guy one more time, and I'm going to bring him over here, and we'll rotate him and maybe throw it down right there. Maybe kind of line up this curve. I think that looks kind of cool. And then maybe another one of these. I'm going to drag this down over here just so that he's surrounded with the other like shapes in the area. We will duplicate once more right here, and we will rotate this guy. I don't know if we necessarily need this one. Maybe we'll just put it up here. That may or may not stay. We'll think about it. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make this kind of match, right? We need to match all of these colors. They need to all look like they belong together and like they fit in the same design. And the blue is not horrible. It's not the same blue as we have here. But what I would like to do instead of blues is I would like to have it all in colors and variations of this orange central shape here in the center of our design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come through and select all of these. And if I can select, there we go. I am going to, can we add some effects? Yes, on our duotone here. And I will just change our color by paint bucketing a nice orange because I like that orange, and I think I'll do some of these orange and some of these not. In fact, I actually might bring this over top of here, kind of overlap a little bit more, and then bring this one down. That might work. Possibly. I'm experimenting, and that's what this is all about, is kind of experimenting and making kind of a cool design, making it my own, and I kind of want a little more overlap here. So I'm going to select a bunch of these, and I'm going to come in and just paint bucket this nice orange color and get these all to match. Let's go ahead and paint bucket that just to change that to that nice orange. And let's select a lighter color for these, shall we? Because I would like to give it a different variation. So just so that it kind of looks like different shades kind of all put in here. And as you can see, as I start to sample colors and things that I like, it might actually suggest colors that I've used before. So I'll go ahead and just click these because I know that this is the color that I like. We'll go ahead and change this one as well to our kind of more saturated color. Let's do the same thing with this guy. And then let's change our big shapes in here to the darker color. Let's go ahead and grab our paint bucket there. And then let's sample this one as well. Let's go ahead and grab our paint bucket again. Let's work with this. Let's grab this shape in the middle here because we've got a few different shapes. Let's go ahead and grab this one, and we'll change this to our saturated color. And then let's rotate this guy. Let's do this. Let's rotate that just a little bit so there's a little variation. And I might want to change these a little bit. I'm not sure how I feel about the saturation versus some of these different shades, but I'm not worried about it right now. We are you know, kind of doing this project pretty quickly here, but I think you get the idea of how you can go in and kind of make that your own. It matches with our background, and what I'm going to do is I might actually drag our background, because I did say I might change it a little bit. I might drag our background and see how I like these little overlaps with our central character here, which I think is actually looking pretty cool. I might leave it like that. And then I'll leave the blobs for now. We've arranged our blobs. We've kind of created our own little something something out of this. And now we're going to work on text, because the main point of this is to show that we run a Patreon, we offer illustration through this Patreon, and we need to show the world what we offer if they were to pledge to our Patreon. So I'm going to go ahead and change my text. Now, when you select your text box, you can come over here to edit text, which is slightly different if you've ever experienced or experimented with other Adobe apps and products. You will go over to the right hand side here and check out the text box and do all your editing over here. So I am going to write in caps. I'm going to write Patreon rewards, just like that. And I'm going to change this font, I think. Now, this is not a horrible font for this project. It kind of has these big, bold, bubbly symbols and shapes, and kind of a nice large theme to it, which is very similar to our blobs here. But we also have, we have that with the blobs already. What I'd like to do is kind of grab more of an illustrative theme with my font, so that we have illustration, blobs, and then more illustration, kind of sandwich those two themes together in our design here. So I'm going to, I've kind of selected a font that I really liked in here, and that is called True North. So I'll just type True North there, and this is kind of a cool font, and I chose this font because it's got a little bit of texture to it. If I zoom in here, you can see it has a little bit of texture. It's not perfect, you know, it's not pixel perfect, and I really liked it because it has the line through the center of it, which is very reminiscent of our illustration style that we've chosen here. However, you might have different colors, a different vibe of illustration that you've chosen, or maybe you've chosen to theme your Patreon around something other than illustration. So feel free to just select your type and go ahead and experiment. You can scroll down here and see font recommendations, and keep in mind that if you type in what you want in the text field here, when you open up the different fonts that are suggested to you and available to you, you can actually see the preview of what you're writing, so you can get a really good idea of which font is going to work for your project, which is pretty great. So I'm going to go ahead and leave Patreon rewards just like this. I'm going to duplicate it, in fact, and this duplicate I am going to color white, like so, and I am going to overlap and then use my arrow keys to kind of give it almost like it's a drop shadow. And then I know that we are coming close to the end of our show here in about 2 minutes. So what I'm going to do is just create myself a quick little list of all of the rewards for this tier. And I'm just going to put in some placeholder text, like I'm going to write reward 1. Let me make sure I'm not in caps. Reward 1. Reward, I'll just copy paste reward 1 a couple of times just so we can get all of these in here pretty quickly. Boom. There we go. And I will also space these out just a tad. And we'll go ahead and bring our list right over here. And we will change our text to white. And I might experiment a little bit with where what they say and how I arrange my text. But you can see I can put a nice little list of everything that I want right down the side here, and it works very well. Now I'm going to pop over here to my main camera. Forgive me, this is going to show my streaming. Oh no, it didn't. Okay, cool. cool. We've got this over here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this gives you folks some ideas on what you can do for creating some awesome promos and advertisements for your Patreon. I appreciate you all jumping in here and sharing your thoughts and experimenting with Adobe Express. I'm going to be back tomorrow with another episode. Please stay tuned because we always have awesome content happening in the Adobe sphere. So don't go away. There's probably going to be some more awesome content waiting for you after this.